Well, hello, YouTube. A surprise showcase reaction. I just reacted to the Indie World Showcase, so hopefully that's up by the time you're watching this. I missed some showcases last month. I don't think anything too major, but I'm just going through what I missed. This is one called the GameSpain Direct. I think this is the first time they're doing this. I'm reading the description. I'm watching it because I have a little bit of time this morning. So, and it's not particularly long, so I think I can squeeze in some time for this. I got my book handy in case there's anything I want to wish list, anything I want to add to my fantasy critic this year. We're doing for Spawn Trap. So let's see. Let's see what games are showcased
Hello,
here.
indie game fans. GameSpain presents 25 indie games from Spanish teams and developers from action-adventure, run-and-gun platformer, cozy
Mm.
games, racing games, horror games, and much more, so let's get started. We Wilders The Lost Spring is an open-world, third-person, creature-collecting action roguelite where you play as a lone survivor named Abby, exploring corrupted biomes and battling enemies in order to restore the ecosystem and bring life back one area at a time. Each run drops you into a vast, interconnected environment filled with twisted creatures born from a failed society where you use traversal abilities like a glider, a grappling hook, and wall running to help you get to new areas, collect native creatures called Hantu, which fight alongside you in real-time
Like
combat
Pokemon.
using their attacks or even support abilities to help you along the way. And you can even feed and level them up to make them stronger. Defeat is not the end, since you go back to your skyship base, which is where the meta progression elements come in as you plant seeds, grow rare flora for permanent buffs, evolve companions, and craft tools, which all carry over between descents. This comes to us from the developer of Endling Extinction is Forever,
Which
so
I
they are
might be
sure
playing
to
this
knock it
year.
out of the park with
It's
the
in the
emotional beats,
final
and I have full
two.
confidence that this will be great. I
Endling
happened to
is in the
feature
final
the
two
long
for
in
my
development
my side
Elementalists in my
scroller
video on upcoming
category
action-adventure
for the
games,
backlog
where the
voting,
developer
which
did
I'm
comment to
surprised
say
it got
that
that
this
far,
will be
man.
releasing
That
soon,
one
so there's plenty to
category,
look
I'm
forward
like,
to.
how
You
are
journey
these two
through
the
a
final
giant
games?
world
It's
to
between
restore
that
the
and
lost
Sonic
elements by
Mania.
harnessing and
So
mastering
one of those
elemental
two games I'm
powers
playing this
such as
year.
fire, water, and electricity to fight enemies, solve environmental puzzles, and unlock new paths in a vast, interconnected world with secrets, powerful foes, and challenging dungeons.
And
This
it
is
says the
similar to
exact
classic
same art
2D Zelda
style
games,
as
down to having
Koromon.
elemental dungeons, but critically, it is non-linear in this game, so depending on which element you get first and where you decide to go, you might get a very different experience. Elements are interactive, so you
I'm
can
out of
use
coffee
water to
today.
create a puddle, wait for
And I thought
enemies
I
to walk
ordered
in, then cast lightning to electrocute
I
them,
thought I
with
ordered
these
groceries for
also
this morning, but
factoring
it's
into
tomorrow morning, so I
exploration,
gotta
such as
suffer.
with the nature elements and the
I'm
growing
already
of
finished the
vines.
iced
They
coffee
have
again.
absolutely nailed the pixel art and it looks very nice, so fingers crossed we'll get an actual release date soon.
Yeah.
Hidalgo is a handcrafted adventure
Hidalgo.
inspired by the classic novel Don Quixote de la Mancha, with a colorful puppet world made from recycled materials where you relive iconic moments from the novel, starring the titular character and his squire, while uncovering a parallel, heartfelt story about a family bonding through play. You explore vibrant landscapes and solve environmental and perspective puzzles that sometimes switch into the character's point of view to reconstruct his delusional imagination about pretending to be a chivalrous knight. It has both exploration with light combat and boss fights, so more of an action-adventure game where the world's handcrafted aesthetic is very charming, along with music primarily created by a Spanish guitar, definitely giving it a cozy artistic charm. Playing single player lets you swap between the two characters, with co-op support allowing each player to control one character, and whether you're familiar with the source material or not does look like a wonderful experience. Speaking of charming looking games, Clue Murder by Death is a
This is
narrative-driven
an indie
detective
game?
adventure game set in 1930s England, taking place in a
Oh, it's not
fog-shrouded
actual
manor
Clue.
where you play as
Okay.
a detective attempting to
Cluedo.
solve a murder before Scotland Yard arrives and takes
I
over
feel
the
like
case. You arrive
Hasbro
at the
or whoever
sprawling
owns it
Anderson Manor
is
after
gonna
Lord Robert Anderson is found dead and must search
introduce a
every room
lawsuit.
for evidence, inspect clues, interrogate a cast of suspicious characters with hidden motives, and connect conversations and observations to uncover the truth behind the crime. Investigation happens in real time with a strict 120-minute time limit that forces you to choose which leads to pursue and which characters to trust or confront, ultimately shaping how the branching narrative unfolds based on your choices and deductions. The
I
fully
need
explorable
energy
3D
drink
isometric manner is packed with
after this.
secrets and interactive items with thousands of lines of dialogue written for the game, so multiple playthroughs might be required if you want to get the complete picture. Die or Die is a cartoony action roguelite where you play as Lil Demon, running, shooting, and dodging through levels filled with enemies, hazards, and unpredictable bummers, with the main
I will say
gimmick
I
of
hate
using
this
dice
art style.
rolls
I'm
to
sorry.
activate abilities,
I
buy
get
new
it.
weapons,
It's
or to
very
get rid
nostalgic
of bummers. Bummers
because
are essentially
there's a lot of stuff that
completers of
use this way
modifiers
back
for
in the
the
day,
level,
but
such as making enemies huge, slowing you to half speed, turning the floor into lava, and more. So you're
I
using
know that
rolled
like
dice to negate these, but the same
pizza,
dice can
whatever that
also be
pizza
used
game
to
is
activate abilities,
the art styles
introducing
like
an
this, but
interesting risk-reward
Pizza
mechanic.
Tower.
Combat is classic action roguelite, requiring reflexes and strategy as you adapt to the unpredictable scenarios with a variety of biomes, layouts, and enemies to contend with. From the art, animations, and overall vibe, it does remind me of Nuclear Throne Cross Pizza Tower and might be a good addition to the genre. From the developer of the co-op rage game Bread and Fred comes Naughty Gnomes, a chaotic multiplayer party game where you and your friends control mischievous gnomes in fast, frenetic matches that pit you against each other in wild combat scenarios across wacky arenas. Players throw, hit, dash, and taunt rivals while using anything they can find as a weapon, from hammers to traffic cones and even fish. Then enhance your little gnome with cards that unlock upgrades and alter the rules of the match to favor your
by the way,
build and
guys,
playstyle. Matches are short and unpredictable, with over 20 randomly selected maps that each bring
just
their
want
own
to
hazards and weapons, and more than 100
state
upgrade
the
cards
importance
with
of these
unusual
kind of
effects,
showcases
synergies, and surprises add plenty
because
of variety.
these are all indie games,
Customization runs deep,
and
with
the industry
thousands
is
of
kind of
possible
in
cosmetic options for your gnome, along
a
with
bad
game
space
modes
right
such
now,
as classic free-for-all,
and
team battles, and a prop hunt
the
payload.
thing that can
Does
like
make this look like a fun time, so here's the developer with more.
Hi,
bring a
I'm
bright
Guillermo,
spot into
co-founder
like the
and game
dark
designer
times
at
of
San
this
Francisco
the video
Studio,
game industry
and I'm here to talk
is
about our new
to help
game,
support these indie
Narcos.
games. So if there's anything on here
The thing
that
is,
you
you are
are
gnomes,
interested in,
and you
wish
fight.
list it, because wish listing does help the
Déjame
developers.
hacer
It
esto.
helps them find
Deja de hablar
funding,
y luego
um,
ponemos el juego.
and
Our studio
gain
goes from
interest
making
into
a
the
game
games.
about two penguins tied together with a rope called
And
Bread and Fred.
obviously
That
purchasing the
was our
games and
first game,
supporting the
being
developers
3
helps
people.
as well.
Now we are lucky enough to be 8 members
But
in
you
the
know,
studio,
this
and
these
this
are like
is
kind
our
of things
second
that
game,
help
Naughty
for
Gnomes.
propping up the indie space. The industry
Ahora
will
no
be
lo
better
pongas.
as a
¿Qué eres,
whole
equilibrio?
than, you
Naughty
know,
Gnomes is a party game for up to
letting
4 players, based
the
on
big
quick rounds
companies
where you fight with each other.
acquire
And as the
everything
game
and then just like
progresses, it gets crazier. But first,
keep
you'll have to customize your gnome with
having
more than,
layoffs in the industry due to
10, I think.
decisions higher up
Upon
to
Chilean
appease investors,
combinations,
like
choose wisely.
the heavy
Then you
investment
appear
into
in a
AI
random map
technology.
and fight to death.
This
You've
is
got
kind
a
of the way
very
to
simple
fight
set
that,
of
so
controls.
definitely
You
help
can
support
dash,
these guys.
you can grab, you can hit, you can throw, and you can dance. Okay, but why is it that it gets crazier? Haha, because of the upgrades. You see, between rounds, you can improve your skills, including the
I got
dance,
like
by picking an upgrade and making your own build of upgrades throughout the game. We loved the idea, and we created up to 120 extremely unique upgrade cards that will help you defeat your opponents.
We could say that what defines Naughty Gnomes the most are the upgrades and the chaos that they create. They are classified by tiers. We've got common, rare, epic, legendary, and... esto no lo decimos, ¿no? ¿Lo dejamos para el release? Okay. The first reason why we made this game is money. The second reason is because we love playing party games ourselves.
Visually, we've gathered a bunch of references such as Moving Out and Spottable.
yeah, it does look
But
yeah.
at the time we started the development, we were playing a lot of Rounds and Boomerang Fu, which are our main references for the game in terms of gameplay. We also saw Blood Roots, the game in which you can grab any object and use it as a weapon, and we added it in our game as a main feature. The greatest challenge
Okay.
has to be the online system. Apart from getting to show visually all the important information to the player among all the exaggerated chaos that is constantly happening on your screen, adding a roof to our imagination thinking about the craziest upgrade cards that we could imagine, and not
a
implementing
large
them
amount of time
because you have
spent
to stop
on
somewhere
the
and
gnome
making all
game
the
here.
upgrades work with every single combination of them. But that would be our problem. You just have to grab some friends and fight. We are Sandcastle Studio and we hope you like naughty novels.
Yeah, interesting.
Blightstone is out right now, releasing in early access in January 2026, and is a dark fantasy tactical roguelite where you lead a party of adventurers fighting back against a spreading corruption known as the Blight by destroying the Blightstone that fuels it. It has turn-based tactics combat, but most interestingly, is without a grid, so you position your heroes on dynamic battlefields, manage action points, and use abilities and the environment to outthink and outmaneuver enemies while protecting the vital Earth Glass Crystal, which you need to deliver to the Infernal Rift. Between battles, you make decisions on where to travel, which events to tackle, and how to upgrade your team and the crystal, also having meta progression elements so you get stronger for future attempts, with procedurally generated maps, branching paths, and randomized encounters, making each run feel fresh. Of course, being a fan of Darkest Dungeon, I absolutely love the art style as well, where as of recording, this has about 400 Steam reviews and a mostly positive rating and only looks to get even better. A curious looking game is Pecado SD Card, a first-person folkloric
card?
horror experience set in the rural, decaying landscapes
Also,
of
sorry if I'm
Hispania
like
Profunda,
yawning and
where
rubbing my
religion,
eyes. It's
violence, and silence
very
shape
early and I
everyday
didn't
life,
get a lot of
and you
sleep.
must survive against unseen threats
And
while
again, I have no
exploring
coffee.
a fragmented
Wow.
narrative. The environment is inspired by rural and decaying Spain, with certain eerie religious overtones, since the game's description tells you to listen to the word of God, where you can pray in order not to lose faith and to stay on your path. To what end, I'm not sure, but the atmosphere is thick with dread and looks very creepy, looking to be for fans of the genre. I have a soft spot for action-adventure RPGs, with Emery Hearts being a retro action JRPG where you play as Lug, an ordinary boy with the power to shape the fate of both humans and machines in a world teetering on the edge of collapse. In this vibrant voxel art world, you explore diverse environments, face off against deadly mechanoid foes in real-time combat, and solve environmental puzzles, testing both your reflexes and wits. Unlock new abilities, learn spells, master different weapon types, and boost your stats as you increase your power level over the course of the game, used to tackle escalating challenges. The story blends emotion, legacy, and mystery as you uncover the deeper truth of the world with something known as the vital thread which binds all life on the planet together, as well as a personal collection as you connect to the consciousness of your long-lost mother, looking quite classic in setup but with modern sheen and polish. Garden Haven is a cozy mixed reality gardening simulation that turns your real-world room into a vibrant, growing
Oh,
garden
it's
where
an
you plant,
AR game?
water, trim, and harvest flowers, vegetables, and greenery
I
on
feel like
everyday
people like gave
surfaces
up on
such
these
as
kind of
tables,
games.
shelves, and beds, using hand gestures instead of controllers. You nurture life alongside a gentle garden spirit that guides and grows as you cultivate your space, rewarding dedication with blooms and produce as a showcase of your efforts. It's calming, relaxing, and has a mindfulness element to it. So if you want to chill out for a little bit, you can get this on the Meta store right now.
Cool.
Drakama is a colorful 3D action-adventure platformer where you run, jump, and fight across a series of island worlds to stop the evil dragon King Kred from conquering the realm, freeing the magical Okis and collecting Moki Balls to rebuild bridges to reconnect the shattered lands. You choose from 3 playable heroes and traverse 15 levels packed with enemies, traps, puzzles, and hidden collectibles, using fluid platforming and spirited combat to push forward through vibrant environments. Along the way, a special companion named Eiko can aid you with magical powers as you face colorful foes and solve challenges that makes exploration with
They
light
repeating
combat
gameplay?
elements. The
They didn't
world's
make a
design
long enough
draws
trailer?
inspiration from
Okay.
Catalan culture and is
Sure.
available in the Catalan language, looking colorful and vibrant, being designed for players of all ages and skill levels with co-op support, and looks like a fun experience together.
Yeah.
On the other hand, a co-op title that might test a few relationships is an extremely hard game, a brutally challenging physics-based co-op title
Oh
where two
God.
geese must work together carrying one fragile egg through a variety of terrain and obstacles without
Can you imagine
bashing
me in
heads,
court
and
playing
every
this?
crack makes the egg harder to control and more chaotic to handle. The game hinges on teamwork, communication, and coordination, but of course,
A lot
hilarity
of repeating
ensues when you
gameplays so
take an
far.
unexpected bump, press the wrong button, mistime a movement, or just stare at the ridiculous obstacles the developer puts in your way. Somewhat forgivingly, if the egg slips from the nest, there's a chance to recover it, as it bounces all over the place and perhaps lands in a soft spot, looking like a fun take on the Rage game.
Hi, I'm Adrian, solo developer from Spain, working under Piper Studio. Thank you very much for inviting me to the showcase. Right now, I'm working on my second game. It's a co-op game when you and a friend play as two geese trying to carry a fragile egg through a level full of obstacles. But you need to be careful, because every crack makes the egg more unstable and harder to
Oh,
control.
is it?
So teamwork and communication
Yeah,
are very
checkpoint.
important. The idea comes from my love for casual co-op games, especially rage games. I enjoy games that push your patience to the limit and create funny and chaotic moments together, even when things go wrong. The goal is to have fun. I hope you enjoy the game and enjoy the rest of the show.
Crystal Theatre of Idols is out right now and is a first-person horror shooter set in a haunting
Oh my
nightmarish
God, guys,
Belgian
I just want to
Spain
relax,
called
sleep.
Hispania, where you play as
I
Gabriel,
go
a
back.
soldier on a grim mission
But I
to
also want to
unravel
watch
dark
this.
secrets while fighting terrifying foes on the cursed island
laying
of
back here.
Tortusa. In this
If I fall
unsettling world,
asleep, please
blood
don't.
itself
Please don't be
becomes
too
both
bad.
your lifeline and weapon, as every shot you fire draws from your own life force, forcing you to balance survival against firepower while solving puzzles and navigating crumbling ruins and labyrinthine streets. The world is shaped by twisted folklore, religious imagery, and cultic undercurrents that blur the lines between myth and
Yeah, I'm
nightmare,
definitely gonna
with
need
each
a
step
pick me
deeper
up.
into
this.
Tormentosa's past coming with even greater danger, with the creepy, doll-like enemies
Crystal.
truly being quite
Not
terrifying.
Switch.
Speaking of dolls, on the opposite end of things in terms of vibes is Toy Maker Threads of Joy, a
Terms
toy
of
crafting
vibes.
and shop management simulator set in the bustling Spanish city of Salamanca in the early 1910s, where you run your own workshop, making custom plushies and items for curious customers in the vibrant old world marketplace. The game lets you design and craft toys from a variety of materials, selecting patterns and colors, then sewing them together in a relaxed, creative workflow. Take on commissions from locals that encourage you to refine your craft to suit their taste, and as you get to know these colorful characters, it reveals more about their stories and history, which deepens your connection to the city. Interestingly, there are two distinct mythic narrative paths, as you either learn from a character named the Master, or to help a character named the Lady recover her name, wrapping a narrative and story around the tinkering simulator with a pretty art style. I've had my eye on Operation High Jump: The Fall of Berlin, since this is a 2D pixel art
Wow.
run and gun platformer
Wow,
that
what?
has Metal Slug vibes,
Oh
but one
my
which is set in the final days of World War II. You lead a suicide mission deep into the
Okay.
ruined city of Berlin to hunt down enemy leaders, seize advanced experimental weapons, and steal plundered art and relics before the fallen regime can escape. You play as a veteran of the Polish resistance, accompanied by an elite squad known as the Dogs of War, as you run and gun your way through 9
What's this
missions,
game called?
having frenetic shooter action, platforming, and
I've been wanting
explosive
to go
combat.
through the Metal
Levels
Slug
feature
series,
destructible environments,
and
historical
add
weapons and
in,
vehicles
hey,
to
what if you
capture
just kill
enemies,
Nazis?
with unexpected
Sure.
hazards and tactical choices, such as
I'm down
taking
for that.
strategic positions and deciding your approach, adding some tactical elements, which, along with gorgeous handcrafted pixel art, cutscenes, and motion comic sequences,
Operation
really
High Jump.
is quite the complete package. Penance is a moody exploration adventure game where you don the robes of a monk named Elias as he enters a corrupted abbey to investigate the mysterious death of his mentor and uncover a deep conspiracy. Gameplay blends exploration with a unique rhythm-based purification mechanic where you use prayer at precise moments to cleanse corrupted objects and clear the path forward, while managing faith and guilt levels as you fend off various specters. Along the way, You collect the 50 symbolic objects of mystery, which gradually reveal the Abbey's history and your own destiny on the pilgrimage through 7 phases based on the canonical hours,
Got
so a
another
very strong
14
religious
minutes.
inspiration which fits very well with the game.
Penance. Okay.
Seek and Sail is a pirate-themed roguelite deck builder where you recruit and upgrade a crew of sailors whose cards form your deck and power your actions in turn-based naval combat on the high seas. In battles, actions cost time rather than mana, action points, or energy, so choosing when to act quickly or risk longer, more powerful moves shapes how battles unfold. Creative combinations of abilities lets you set foes aflame, spread fear, and manipulate various effects to gain the upper hand as you sink enemy vessels and progress onwards. Between clashes, you sail across archipelagos, manage supplies, visit taverns and shipyards, and face unpredictable dangers while building your crew's strength and discovering unique relics. There is procedural generation from run to run, where your character has been chosen by the sea goddess Merla, which enables you to always come back, where I do love it when developers give an explanation to the run-based structure, so this fits the bill.
Nice.
A game with a unique visual style is Cutout Village, a cozy narrative city builder where you inherit an old
I'm
family
so bad
house
at
in an
these,
abandoned
so I
medieval
can't
fort
imagine I'd
and
be
work
good at
to
this
restore
game.
life, community, and beauty to the
I'm so
quiet
bad at making
settlement
these
through
little
creative
paper
building and
figures.
crafting mechanics. In both story and sandbox modes, you are essentially doing paper craft by cutting, folding, and gluing sheets of paper into buildings, streets, and decorations, letting you shape your village with a hands-on tactile feel. As you place new buildings and infrastructure, you will unlock new services and increase your population capacity, bringing life back to the town, where it's pretty amazing to see old school paper craft being translated into a video game, so certainly keep an eye on this.
Although our game fits into the city building genre, we like to think that we are creating something different. A relaxing crafting game in which you build a small village. The main mechanics don't focus so much on numbers or complex management, but rather on physical and recognizable actions, such cutting, folding, and gluing the seats of each house. We believe that this mix of city building and crafting, combined with the game's aesthetic design, is what makes Cutout Village a truly unique experience. Our main artistic inspiration has been the cutout paper sheets, which were very popular between 60s and 90s, which some of our team members grew up with. That's why we
Yeah.
try to make the development process as manual as possible, opting for a retro watercolor finish and testing each of the sheets on paper before bringing them into the game. We took this idea so far that, in addition to releasing a video game, we are also going to publish a paper book so people
Oh,
can do crafts and build all the houses in
oh,
the
that's
game
fun.
in real life.
I like that.
As for the narrative, we wanted to talk about rural depopulation. For that reason, the story is about rebuilding a small abandoned village and slowly bringing back into life. Catot Village presented many challenges, but probably the biggest one was to design more than 50 buildings and turn crafts into something that is truly playable. The trick was to make the player feel like they were really cutting, folding,
Oh,
and gluing
put this
paper,
on Switch with
but
mouse
without
controls.
losing peace or accessibility.
That'd be great.
To solve this, we iterated a lot, adjusting each step of the process until we found a balance between fidelity for the real craft and comfortable and satisfying experience. The Village Games is a studio with more than 25 years creating games. Along the way, we've gone through many different stages, from our beginning developing independent games in Flash or Java to the present day,
Oh yeah, I
where
remember
we are
that.
working on projects for PC, consoles, and mobile devices. Despite technological advances, we've always maintained the same philosophy to create completely original and innovative concepts with a strong identity and surprise the player with different ideas.
Okay.
The Occultist is a first-person narrative horror thriller where you play as paranormal investigator Alan Rebels, drawn to a cursed British Isles named Godstone to uncover the truth behind his father's sudden disappearance in a fog-shrouded world filled with secrets and dread. You explore eerie, abandoned streets, derelict buildings, and haunted expanses where a notorious cult once performed macabre rituals, and your only tools are stealth, observation, and a mystical pendulum that lets you interact with the environment and paranormal forces. The pendulum will have 5 unique powers, one of which is looking through the crystal part like a lens to see what the naked eye cannot, revealing clues and dangers, so figuring out which power to use will be critical to solve the
Not even
puzzles and
funny,
progress
clown.
forward. The enemy designs look very creepy, and the powerlessness of your character adds to the tension and is one of the most anticipated horror games.
Like more
Another
like
horror
a
title of interest
point
is
and click game.
Silent Road, a first-person psychological horror game that puts you behind the wheel as a night shift taxi driver navigating eerie forest roads and isolated villages in a remote part of Japan with a tragic history. You drive along silent, fog-covered routes between settlements, picking up peculiar passengers whose stories, strange behaviors, and requests grow increasingly unsettling as the night deepens. The game leans heavily into mood and atmosphere, using the quiet tension of empty roads, haunting silence, and creeping unease to unsettle you as events unfold both inside your taxi and beyond its windshield. At times, you may need to step out of the safety of the vehicle to assist your passengers, but these simple requests might result in hidden danger appearing that will frighten you, where watching the trailer alone did make my hair stand.
Ugh.
One more horror game of note is The Transference, a first-person title where you're trapped
Another
inside
horror
your own
game.
home with the doors and windows sealed shut and must solve environmental puzzles to escape while uncovering the truth behind who has locked you in and why. It takes place in a confined, eerie house where someone has placed puzzles and mechanisms for you to solve, with the promise of freedom if you do so. But hey, I watch Saw, so perhaps that's not the case here. To add to the tension, you are not alone and must use stealth to avoid detection, otherwise you might have to face a grisly fate looking pretty intense and creepy. Masks of the Void Origins is a telekinesis-focused action roguelite currently in early access, where you play as a young woman named Irette who must dive into a mysterious realm called the Void to protect home from an ever-looming realm-devouring threat known as the Never-Ending Night. The game blends fast-paced combat with physics-driven interactions that let you throw environmental objects and manipulate enemies using the power granted by ancient masks, and every expedition into the Void tests your skill, build choices, and adaptability in the face of escalating danger. Between attempts, you grow stronger by collecting and upgrading Void gifts, documents, cards, shards, and masks that change how your powers work, letting you experiment with new combinations that alter combat traversal and playstyle. Narrative threads and character development unfolds between runs, and branching decisions can influence gameplay and how the story develops as you learn more about the nature
Morning
of the Void,
snack.
currently
Keep me
sitting
going
at
right
a
now.
very positive rating, so go check it out. Cozy Sanctuary is a relaxing bottom-of-screen idle pet simulation where you tend to a peaceful little sanctuary full of
One of these
adorable
games.
animals, and your job is to care for them, keep them fed, and watch them play while you work, study, or relax. You grow crops on a small farm, water plants, use
I can't
compost to
multitask
speed
like
up
that,
growth,
man.
and harvest food so that every creature gets fed, keeping them happy, clean, and well-nourished as more furry friends arrive to join your sanctuary. Interact with your animals by petting them, picking up their mess, and placing toys or decorations, which adds personality to your space, increasing their happiness while you continue to plug away at studies or work, or just chill out on your computer. It's super low pressure and very cute, so here's the developer with a little bit on how the game came to be.
Hello, GameSpain Direct. Thank you so much for having us.
Hello.
My name is Rodrigo,
Hi,
and I'm one
Rodrigo.
of the members of
I
Open
want
Core
the
team,
Donkey Kong
a
plush
small
that you
independent
have.
studio made up of 5 friends based in Madrid. You may know us
I
for
was
our other
like seeing
games
these
such as
developers'
Block
rooms.
Factory, Sports Car Shop Simulator, God Strike,
Yeah, a
or Sushi
mix of things
Tower
there. They got a
Defense. But
Groot,
many
a
introduce you to one of the
snake.
latest projects we're working
I
on.
don't know what that amiibo
Cozy
is. Oh, it's
Sanctuary.
the
One day,
Praise the
one of my
Sun guy.
colleagues was working while
They
his
got the
cat
kid
lived
from
sleeping
Majora's
between his
Mask.
keyboard and his
Little
screen.
kid.
And this was what
There's
lit
a
the
little
first
rubber
spark
ducky.
to the idea for this game. We as a
They
team
got a
are
Hades
all
guy.
animal lovers, so we were super excited for his idea. And we started to work on how we could make a game like Rusty's Retirement, but with cute little animals like Nintendogs. Some kind of Tamagotchi, but with more pets and without being so distracting or requiring so much attention. And just as the Powerpuff Girls, we added sugar, spice, and everything nice to create Cozy Sanctuary.
Nope, you
A
forgot
game is a
got the
relaxing
secret
cozy
ingredient,
simulator
chemical
where you care
X.
for cute little animals at the bottom
That's
of your
how the
screen. They
Powerpuff
hang
Girls
out
were
with you
born.
while you work, study, or simply are looking for a little bit of peace. The best thing is that these tiny friends are super well behaved and will avoid calling your attention or disturbing you while you're concentrated. This will let you calmly work while they patiently wait for you to come back and give them all the food and love they deserve. Then you can spend your breaks harvesting some crops, petting your fluffy friends, or even giving them a bath. Nobody likes a smelly raccoon, right? After more than a decade working together, making some intense games, we wanted to have some fun on a chill and relaxing game. Having to change our mindset from blasting bosses in Godstrike or solving complex factory puzzles in Block Factory has been quite a challenge. However, all this experience did pay off, and we managed to create something simple yet deep. A game that will not require your full-on attention, but that will have you coming back wanting to spread some love and unlocking more and more animals. So if you enjoyed what you heard about Cozy Sanctuary, you can hop onto Steam right now and play the demo for free. We'd love to know which is your favorite animal, and if we're missing one that you would like to see in the full game release. Don't forget to wishlist Cozy Sanctuary to be reminded when the game is finally out. Thanks again. Bye.
Bye.
Yo creo que ya.
Top Drifters is a frantic, top-down arcade racing game where you race across unconventional tracks using physics-based handling and drifting as you attempt to come in first. The controls are
would be
simple, but the
very
physics
bad
makes
at
every
this
turn
game.
and slide feel dynamic, so mastering drift, boost, weight transfer, and even strategically using collisions becomes the core of how you maneuver around narrow corners, slopes, jumps, tunnels, and shortcuts that often punish mistakes with spectacular falls and wild moments. You can unlock and master more than 10 distinct cars, each with unique stats for speed, acceleration, drifting, and turbo efficiency, giving each vehicle a different feel. Tracks feature multiple surfaces that affect grip and momentum, from asphalt to dirt, snow, grass, and even water, which, coupled with the insane looking environments, makes this quite a different kind of racing game. It also has different modes such as rally, circuit, and an open world mode, along with local split-screen multiplayer support, and is certainly for fans of racing games. As always, wishlist all the games that you're interested in since it helps the developers, and look out for more GameSpain Directs later this year. And before I leave you, I have just one more thing. I'm a big fan of developer Super
Oh!
Mecha Team due to the
This
gorgeous
game.
hand-drawn art from their initial release of the action platformer Rise and Shine,
Rise and
to the
Shine,
bullet
yeah.
hell Metroidvania shoot 'em
This
up
has
that
been on
came
my
to Switch,
backlog,
which was why I was
guys.
bummed when they announced
I don't
in
think
March
I included it this
2025
year.
that they were
Oh no,
shutting
I
down
might have
after
did in the
15
initial run,
years
and
due to
you
lost
guys
funding
didn't
for their next game,
put
but
it through.
the gaming gods have been kind since they chugged away in the background and managed to sign with a yet unnamed publisher for their next game, Terrible Life Expectancy. This is an action roguelite shooter where you fight endless hordes of mutants in a post-apocalyptic town,
Be
and
honest,
must
Rise and
survive
Shine is
as
more
long
my
as
style.
possible, carrying over upgrades through bloodline inheritance,
Although this looks
looking a little
crazy.
bit like Vampire Survivors cross Rogue Legacy. There's almost an extraction game element as well, as you
That's gonna be
scavenge
good, though.
abandoned locations for loot and gear to pass down, also retaining their signature hand-drawn art, which simply looks awesome and has the potential to be a huge hit.
Terrible life expectancy. All right, that was the GameSpain Direct. I believe the first of its kind. So they're expecting to do more of these. So if you like that, I don't know. But if more importantly, if you like the games showcase, go ahead and wishlist them. I don't know how to say the first name. Drakamar. Is that it looks like a very kids platforming game, but it looks kind of fun. So I like the 3D platforming game, so definitely interested. And then the Operation High Jump, that was it the what's the game called? The Metal Slugs like game. That looks cool. I gotta wake up. So I gotta It'll pick me up. So I think there's gonna be like 1 or 2 more showcases I'm able to squeeze some time into this morning. So maybe I'll record some more of those. For now, if you're watching on YouTube, go check out the Indie World Direct Showcase I just did. If it should be uploaded by now. And then go check out the Pokemon Presents showcase I did on the Spawn Trap channel on the podcast link down at the bottom of the screen. We also have our latest podcast as well, talking about all the latest changes in Xbox leadership. So if you want to hear discussions around that, otherwise, I'm gonna try to wake up this morning. So I'll be right back. If you're lurking on Twitch, if not, hopefully I'll see you next time in the next showcase or at a live stream on my live stream channel. So see you soon.